Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring, really getting into the story of a figure who's just so much more than mythology. He's become this profound, enduring symbol. I'm talking about the legendary Anjana Hanuman. Our mission really is to look at how his journey kind of challenges our usual ideas about strength, devotion, even divinity.
Exactly. And for this, we're looking at excerpts from Hanuman, A Journey of Devotion and Divine Power. It gives us a pretty unique perspective, actually. It shows the surprising path of someone who, well, wasn't born a god, but achieved this incredible divinity through, profound devotion and selfless service to Rama. So this deep dive should uncover how that transformation happened, and importantly, the reawakening of powers he'd possessed but forgotten.
Okay, so let's unpack that from the very start. What do these texts tell us about Hanuman's earliest moments? His origin story. He's born with these immense powers, right?
Yeah.
Right from childhood. Born to Anjan Devi, blessed by Vayudeva. And there's an amazing story where, as a kid, he mistook the sun for a fruit and flew to catch it. I mean, what does that tell us about him back then, that raw power?
That image is, well, it's quite something, isn't it? It shows this innocent, completely untamed power. And the texts explain that the gods, seeing this immense, unchecked strength, they actually made a decision. They temporarily made him forget his power. It sounds harsh, but it wasn't really a punishment, more like a divine intervention, kind of shaping his destiny, making sure those abilities would only surface later, aligned with a higher purpose. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What power needs forgetting to be truly found?
That is a fascinating question. And this early, almost accidental power, as the texts describe it, was just a precursor. Things changed drastically when he meets Sri Rama. What was it about that meeting? Why was it such a pivotal moment in Hanuman's life?
Oh, it's hard to overstate it, really. That encounter shifted everything for him, his entire perspective. The text is very clear. He saw himself only as a servant. Well, hang on, not just a servant. It's as a devoted bhakta, a true devotee. So that innate strength, the power that made him chase the sun, it was now consciously channeled through unwavering devotion. It's a real shift from raw power to purposeful service.
And this deep devotion, it eventually leads to that great reawakening, right? You can almost picture the scene our sources describe, this huge challenge, crossing the ocean to Lanka. And everyone, the text says, was speechless, just paralyzed by how impossible it seemed. So how does Hanuman, who's forgotten his own strengths, suddenly rise to this occasion?
This is where Jambavan becomes absolutely crucial. He's the one who provides that spark. He reminds Hanuman, essentially saying you have immense power, remember? It just highlights the incredible effect of external belief, When someone else sees your potential, even if you've lost sight of it yourself, it speaks volumes about belief, doesn't it? Others believing in us.
It really does. And what's so compelling is the internal shift that happens next. The sources say, at that instant, Hanuman remembered his true form. But the real insight here, it feels like it's not just physical. His leap wasn't just towards Lanka. It was like an inward leap, too, towards his own inherent power, a kind of self-discovery fueled by devotion and Jambavan's words.
Precisely. It wasn't just remembering muscles or flight. It was remembering his true identity, his purpose. He was reclaiming himself, all driven by that higher cause, serving Rama.
And what follows are just these incredible feats in Lanka. Finding Sita, delivering Rama's secret message, single-handedly wrecking the Ashokavana garden, causing total chaos for the enemy. These were huge moments, game-changing achievement.
Absolutely. But what's truly remarkable, maybe even more so, is the humility he shows when he gets back. Despite doing things nobody else could even attempt, the source tells us he just says, I am merely Rama's servant. I mean, that level of humility, after that display of power and intelligence, it's just, wow. It clearly wasn't about ego or personal glory for him.
It's incredibly moving. And Sri Rama's reaction, that's powerful too. The text captures it so well. It says, Rama, full of emotion, told him, I cannot repay your service, Hanuman. What does that recognition really tell us about Hanuman's devotion?
Well, it tells us that true service, the kind done without any expectation of reward, it just transcends ordinary measures, doesn't it? And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it explains his ultimate transformation. Because from that point on, he wasn't just a devotee, a bhakta. He became a Chiranjeevi immortal, Tan Katamochana, the remover of troubles, a giver of immense power. He effectively became one of the gods. His divinity wasn't something he was born with. It was earned, forged through completely letting go of ego and this unwavering commitment to selfless service.
So we've kind of traced this extraordinary journey then, from a child with immense but forgotten power to this devoted servant whose ultimate divinity wasn't about birthright at all, but forged through, well, profound humility and selfless action. It's a really different way to look at achieving greatness.
It really is. Hanuman's life, it sends a powerful message, maybe even a bit paradoxical, that ultimate power isn't found in raw, unchecked strength, but in service, in devotion, in humility. Like our source puts it so beautifully, a soul dedicated to Rama eventually becomes God. It's about the spirit within, not just the outer capability.
So it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What does this ancient story really tell us about where true power and lasting greatness actually come from? And maybe how could focusing on dedication, on selflessness, redefine what success means, not just in epic tales, but in our own lives? Definitely something to reflect on.